Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Our next guest is an executive producer, a four-time Billboard music publisher, and recently secured a joint venture with Tropic Electric for his new project, Bassline. Please help me welcome Nigel Angus. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Most definitely. Well, I've been asking all my guests this. We are living in some crazy times right now with the upcoming election and the racial divide in this country. And the pandemic. How are you dealing with everything on your end?
Oh man, it's been really hard, man, because it's been hard for us to actually get into the studio and do some work and get things going. But we made the best of it, as you can see with the Bassline record. You know what I'm saying? We all understood what it meant to actually work as far as distance. You know what I'm saying? And we made the best of it as far as sending tracks and things back and forth via an email versus being in the studio one-on-one, being together, cutting records. But we made the best of it.
Thank God for technology, right?
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. We all, as I said, we also getting to understand what it means by using Zoom and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think Zoom came up during this whole pandemic.
Bro, I wished I had some stocks in Zoom right now, bro.
Exactly. Well, listen, you said so you're from Bahamas, but grew up in Spanish Town, Jamaica, and then immigrated to New York at 8 with your family. Right. So how do you think that all of that, because it's a lot of flavor and a lot of culture, how did that establish the music, and your love for music, do you think?
Oh man, well, that's the crazy part, because the funny part is I never met my father until I was like 21, 22.
Okay.
You understand? And when I met him, I came across where we was having a small conversation. He didn't even know what I was doing behind the scenes as a, exec, you know what I'm saying? Right. And I found out my dad was like one of the top jewelry makers for like all of the Caribbean recording artists. And he used to tour the world with musicians and artists as well.
Wow.
Like, I'm seeing photos with LL Cool J, Cranium, like all these new cats on the scene right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, Pops, like, what is it that you used to do? He said, yo, listen, I make jewelry. Like, he makes diamond jewelries, like the big chains and all. Just the other day he did supposedly finished a chain for Cranium. So I said, okay. So I guess that's where my flavor came from, where it's like the midst of my father, never even meeting him, understanding what he does is, for his career back then. And I guess that's where I got everything from, you know what I'm saying?
And not even knowing it. Yeah.
Not even knowing it, brother. Yeah. Not even knowing it, So that's the dope part about it,
So you said you didn't meet him until you were 21. So once you all had that in common, was that like a connection that y'all had? The fact that y'all both had this
and I think that's what bridged the awkwardness.
Yeah.
Like not meeting him and not even knowing who he was as a person. And it's just like, we had something to go off on as far as like the connection, like, oh, word, I never knew that. And I never knew this. And he was teaching me certain things as a young cat, coming up doing music. And so it was something for us to actually have conversations with. And then later on, of course, we had to talk that talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what's up? But it worked out, it worked out.
That's good. That's always good. That's always good. So you've been successfully making music since 2012, and you started your publishing company, Palm Tree Flow Records.
Right.
What made you decide that you wanted to start your own publishing?
We were back then. I don't know if you guys ever even know this, but I try my best not to mention it as much. But the record Party Animal with Charlie Black, that was like my first big ever multi, record. Like if you want, you know what I'm saying? So Party Animal was like my opening in 2017 or so. The record blew up. I did the meeting with Republic Records down in Manhattan, and my partner at the time, her name was Erica Watson. We're still close best friends right now. She did records for Beyonce. She's basically back then used to be a songwriter for EMI. And we teamed up and said, let's, start a label. And that's how we wound up starting a label in Los Angeles. Then I gravitated it over here in New York City. And that's where everything just started spinning and, just went from there, making connections here, connections there. and people kept calling me like the Jamaican version of DJ Khaled and
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm like, you know, it is what it is, you know?
Right. So you said for LA to New York, and obviously the two different cities, you know what I mean, both have their own thing going on. What was the biggest difference for you?
Honestly, as far as like the music wise, or as far as like
music wise, music, business, all that.
Because see, LA is a whole different breed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's like totally like New York City, but like on crack 10 times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So so for out there, like the reggae music, I had to get a feel of how LA approached the reggae scene.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Versus, you know, out here in New York where they have Jamaica Avenue, you know, like Queens and Brooklyn, where all, you know, everybody's out there doing that, you know, stuff. But I had to understand how LA operated. But the good part about it is that it was just more so the connections out there versus not having to find if anybody in LA was actually into the reggae scene.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just more so filling the gap of knowing people out there that knew people, you know what I'm saying, to make things work. Pretty much.
Yeah, and I think people sometimes forget about networking, you know what I mean? And that's in any industry. How is networking, you know, again, doing bi-coastal work and all that, how has that helped you, you know, in growing this empire that you're growing?
Listen, man, I'm not even going to hold you, brother, and I'm just saying this straight up with love. I'm saying this to say, anybody getting into this music business, it's really what they say. It's all about the connections.
Yeah,
and it's who you know, and making sure you have the proper relationships to where you don't burn any bridges. And that's the super truth, man. And I'm glad I met with Kathy when I was developing a project, and we kept the relationship, even though that particular project didn't blossom. And I said, let me just use her for the correct moment for a different project, which again, with the Bassline track being distributed by Tropic Electric / Universal Music Canada. And I said, yo, this is the best time to reach out to her to get on this project. But connections is definitely a thing where I believe you should be able to pick up your phone and dial an executive at a major label and say, look, I have a project, just take a listen. Let me know if this is something that you could run with. And I'm glad I've made it to that point to where I could just make small phone calls. Just listen to this track and let me know what you think, if you want to sign this to a distribution deal or something or whatever. But I'm at the point now, I'm just looking to have a direct distribution deal conversation with a major versus having 4 different middlemen in my deals. So that's the point. That's the point I'm at currently right now.
Most definitely. Yeah. And so I know I moved to Atlanta and I met a lot of music executives, and some were good, some weren't, some were crooks. I mean, I think anyone that's been in this music, they know. They've had their stories. What is something that has happened to you that you had to recover from when you were early on?
Oh man. Yo, you said one of the key things, man. It's a tricky business, man. And I'm not, listen, you know, kudos to anybody out here making their coins however they make it. But for me personally, as I expressed to Kat, you know, I said, being as that you're my publisher, I just want you to understand, like, I'm not willing to accept just anything because I'm a very genuine dude, and I want to make sure that the people I'm dealing with feel the genuineness within me, that when they work with me, or if I'm going to work for those individuals, that they don't have the second guess, because, and it's like a bad taste in the executive's mouths when they find out like it's a Jamaican that they're working with, and I don't. I love my country, and I deeply, deeply love my country.
Right, absolutely.
It's just that
the stereotype.
Some has made, you know, the very bad stereotype that has placed on us that they feel Jamaicans are just not the types to work with because they either are crooks or they steal or they lie or, you know, they're trying to get over on you or whatever the case may be. But not all are like that.
Right.
You know, and it's just the same thing for the music business. Like, just because you dealt with an A&R or an executive somewhere and they took your money or they did X, Y, and Z to you, not all of them are like that. Some of them are genuinely out here looking to develop good talent and look for good projects to bring to the table and allow you to, propel,
Right.
But the music business, you have to have tough skin.
Yeah.
And I have to say that, man. You gotta have tough skin.
You got to.
Yeah, it only broke me once before, almost broke me once before, but having good friends and good mentors and good people around you to just say, listen, get back up and keep it pushing, and that allowed me to get the billboards that I have now. I don't know if Kat sent that over to you, but was able to have the accolades that I have because good friends and good family being there for me. Yeah, man.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Bassline. Again, that was a joint venture with you and Tropic Electric, and and it features female dancehall artist Kleeo alongside Kemist and super producer JonFX.
Right.
And again, like you said, just distributed through Universal Music with Zamba, and Zamba already looking to do a sync deal, which is also a great thing. So, how did this happen?
So all right. So JonFX is the crazy thing that's like one of my closest friends, and this guy is one of the most talented producers ever coming out of Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? That was one of XXXTentacion's producers, and he produced a lot of major records that you guys possibly know now for XXXTentacion. And God rest his soul. JonFX was definitely one of the key components for his career. And John is one of my close friends, and I said, John, I found this artist, man. I got the ear. She's dope. And he's like, listen, it's funny because I'm working with her as well, as far as getting she was doing reference tracks.
Okay. Yeah.
So and I said, oh, you're kidding me? She's based in Jamaica. He's like, yeah. I said,
small world.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We got to get this connected. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's a friend that called me. We flew her up and she went to Florida. She left from Florida. She came directly here to New York City. As soon as we had our meeting in the day, I had her go cut this record that JonFX sent me a bunch of folders of music, and we just cut the record. And like I said from the beginning in the interview, I made a phone call and said, yo, Chez, which Chez is the manager for Nyanda. I don't know if you guys who know who Brick and Lace is back in the day, group of them, but they were like a big group back in the day. He still manages Nyanda now, and he manages the Kemist. I said, Chez, I got a record. I'm telling you, listen to it. Hit me back. I'm not going to say nothing to you. Let me know what you feel. My man's called me back in less than 2 seconds, like, Nigel, let's make it happen. Let's cut the deal. And I said, all right, cool. Cut the deal, put everything in order, and then boom, Zumba, which is a big dance company, they did a sync deal for the record, and then, Universal Music hopped on board. Universal Music Canada hopped on board to distribute the record, and the Kemist, you see his accolades there. He has put out some major records on his side, and we just all meshed together to make one big collaborative family to put the record out. And so far, the record is already streaming 15,000 views already on Spotify in less than 2 days. So
you can't beat that.
Man, you can't beat it. Natural, organic, movements. You know what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah. So how do you know when there's an artist you want to work with or a producer you want to work with? How do you? I mean, because obviously there are a dime a dozen,
right.
Now, but how do you know when you identify someone? Okay, I got to work with this person.
I received so many different emails from artists and producers, and sometimes I will take the time out and listen, and then I'll have my assistant just filter through what she knows that I'm looking for.
Right.
But I'll take days, like I said, or sometimes on a Monday or on a Saturday, and just filter through some of the emails, and I'll listen. And it's just a key thing that I listen for, and it's melodies, or if a arrangement as well. And sometimes I don't even care about the production, because when I do hear an artist and I like the artist and the production is weak, I'll go into the studio and redo everything.
Yeah.
Literally from scratch. And if I like the actual production, I'll have the producer come on board, and I'll just say, listen, if you allow me to reproduce your entire project and structure it the correct way for radio or stream-wise distribution, half the time they'll say yeah. And just like Bassline, JonFX produced it, and we all jumped on board and we put our 2 cents in and organized it, and BBC One streamed it. Like it just started rolling. So a lot of the times I'll get records, but I'll give my opinion for free and let them know, like, it's not working, brother. It's the production is not strong. It's not hitting the way it's supposed to be hitting. It's not arranged the way it's supposed to be arranged. You might need a little bit of vocal coaching in the studio here and there, so, but if I really love a record, I'll hands down just go right into production mode. If the producer's open to it, because I don't like to strong arm anyone. But if the artist is willing to just build from scratch, that'll be the best part, because that tells me that they're willing to work and they're willing to do change. Because sometimes you'll have the artist like, no, I want it the way it is, and you don't know what you're talking about, man.
Right.
The master is good and the mixing is on point, when it's like the echoes go from here all the way down the block. And I'm there like, yo, bro, the echoes not, sometimes the echoes are not even on point,
Right. Yeah.
But
no, seriously.
So sometimes I'd be like, okay, I'll get back to you, and then.
Is that the best thing to do? Because as artists, we're all sensitive about our stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I've had to learn to take constructive criticism over the years. You know what I mean?
Right.
From production, and my thing is, why am I getting offended about production? I don't produce. I just sing the song. You know what I mean? But you're like, y'all hate. No, that's all right.
Right.
When you deal with an artist like that or a producer like that, are you quick to walk away from it? Or do you try to influence?
And I'm glad, and I'm being real honest. I'm glad you're hitting these key points, bro. And I've come across, like right now, I love my baby girl Anise. I just finished, I kid you not, her EP album, and beautiful Haitian girl, very talented. She was on American Idol. She was one of the she didn't go all the way through, but she was on. She had the ability to get on, and she worked on Hot 97. She interned for Atlantic Records, and she was an old friend of mine. She came back and said, Nigel, you're the only A&R, the only executive that I know that could organize my project. I said, you know what? We have history, as you was one of my first female artists back then when I was starting out. Right. I'll do the project for you. Today is the first. I just got the album back from Mike Tucci, which mixed for like a whole bunch of different industry A-list. Shouts to Mike Tucci. He's out there in LA as well. And I got the album back. And I'm saying this to say, when I say you want to talk about difficult artists, I want it this way and I want it that way.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure the mix is like this. And I want to co-produce on the album as well. And I want to make sure the mastering is hit this, because I'm a producer as well.
Right,
it's like
all of a sudden, I got all these hats.
Right. And I'm like, wait, I thought if you could have done it, just do the whole project by yourself then.
Right.
Like, you didn't need me to do it.
Right.
But because you have to understand how to deal with artists and personality and determination and making, because a lot of people have to understand music is really an art for artists. Like they really put their soul into their project. Yeah. And you have to either step back and just look and view for yourself and say, let me see what they're trying to paint. Versus coming in and saying, change this, change that, take that out. I don't like this and I don't like that. But you have to see why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Step back and then say, okay, all right, you know what? Can we just, instead of taking it out, let's just adjust that melotone or change that octave a little bit higher, and then it'll and they'll get it, and but then some of them, you just have to be like, it's not gonna work, brother.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, B, and it's not gonna work, brother. And it's like sometimes if they don't budge, you just gotta walk away rather than burning. Yeah, instead of destroying the relationship and say, you know what, this project's not for me. Yeah. But yeah, man.
Well, so you're developing a project with Shiggy, Shiggy Swag, and a longtime partner on projects. Estra.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mike. He's another Mike, bro. I kid you not. I got about 20 different mics in my cell phone. Bro.
Right, that's the thing. Right, exactly.
Yeah. So we call him Mike. So that's another Mike. That's a
okay.
He's been with my team for like about 5 to 6 years, and he's an investor as well on projects. Shiggy, we're developing a compilation project with Swag, which is his manager. He's also an artist as well. Mm-hmm. So we're on the development right now, getting ready to go in the studio and play with the sounds and the tracks, see where we're heading with the direction of the whole compilation.
Yeah.
So that project is currently under development because we're looking to see if we're going high energy or just mid-tone energy for the whole entire project.
Nice.
Yeah. He's in LA right now, so we're waiting for him to get back. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of great things going on. So obviously, you've done this much thus far. You've accomplished a lot. Where do you see yourself like in the next 5 to 10 years?
Man, truly and honestly, I just want to be able to get my space as far as a publishing company and a production house. Mm-hmm. So we're looking to be able to. We're in talks with deals right now for my catalog. So we're looking for a co-publishing major company to come in and take over the catalog that I have, which is over 250 records. Mm-hmm. So we're looking to see if we could co-publish with the correct house, that come in and take over with, some good numbers. I'll be comfortable with some good numbers.
Right.
And,
gotta make sense.
It gotta make sense. And, open up a office. And that's like one of my main goals because I see what's out here because I'm literally one of those executives, and I said no shots being taken, that's actually in the streets looking for the talent and understanding the artists and knowing what they want and giving them that sound mind where it's like I can work with Nigel because he understands where I'm coming from with the issues. Like, not to stray, but I just finished having a conversation yesterday with a guy named ZJ Diamond, and his catalog is like over 300 songs, and the business is not the way it's supposed to. Yeah. And he came to me and I said, listen, we're going to organize this in the correct ways that's it's supposed to. And I could hear it sometimes in the tone of they're hurting because there's nobody there to make sure that their catalogs is in order. Mm-hmm. And it's sad, but you come in and they don't understand the business, so I don't really blame them. So they signed certain deals and contracts that they had no idea that they were giving up there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like that one guy that's genuinely there wanting to make sure people or artists and producers are just in a good position, Yeah. But I see myself 5 to 10 years down the line to having a safe space for people to be able to knock on the door, come to the office and say, hey, Nigel, this is my problem. Hey, no problem. We'll take care of it. We're on it, and that's where we're at right now.
Well, I know it's going to definitely happen. Definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
Where can everybody keep up with everything you have going on? What's the best way?
Instagram. I'm always posting on Instagram, Nigel Angus 111, which is the number 111. So at Nigel Angus 111, or palmtreeflowrecords.com is my website, or YouTube Palm Tree Flow Records as well. But yeah, I'm always constantly posting on my personal Instagram page, on my projects and stories and things like that. We have a few things getting ready to come out before the first quarter hits. So stay tuned to that,
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Well, the current project is called Bassline. It's available now. Everyone go get it. Nigel Angus, pleasure having you on the show. Wish you continued success.
Thank you, Ken.
Most definitely. And for more information, go to our website, StephenKnightShow.com, and we'll be right back after this.
Thank you, brother.